What if the universe isn't what it seems? What if the vast, endless expanse above us hides secrets so unsettling they rewrite everything we think we know? Picture this: a silent, infinite void where stars whisper mysteries, black holes lurk like cosmic predators, and unseen dimensions ripple just beyond our grasp. The universe we call home might be stranger, darker, and far more unpredictable than we ever dared to imagine. Tonight, we're venturing into the shadows of space to uncover 25 chilling theories that defy logic and shake the foundations of reality. From phantom dimensions where time folds in on itself, to ancient celestial entities lurking in the darkness, waiting for their moment to strike, some of these ideas will make you question the very fabric of existence, like the haunting possibility that our universe is nothing more than a simulation, a cosmic experiment run by beings we can't even comprehend. Or worse, that we're completely alone, drifting in a cold, indifferent void with no purpose at all. But this isn't just about fear. It's about awe, the kind that grips you when standing beneath the stars, realizing how little we truly understand. Every flicker of light in the night sky could be a clue, a puzzle piece in a grand, terrifying design. So take a deep breath and steady your nerves, because by the time we're done, you'll never look at the cosmos the same way again. The universe is calling, and its secrets are darker than you ever dreamed. What if you're not really you? What if every memory, every thought, every sensation of being alive is just a fleeting illusion, a random flicker in the infinite emptiness of space? This is the spine-chilling premise of the Boltzmann brain. Imagine a single, fully conscious brain, complete with fake memories of a past that never happened, spontaneously forming in the void. No body, no world, just a lone brain floating in the dark, convinced it's a real person living a real life. And here's the truly unsettling part: according to the math, this scenario might be more probable than our universe existing as we know it. The theory stems from the bizarre rules of quantum fluctuations. In an endless universe governed by chaos, particles can randomly arrange themselves into anything given enough time. A chair, a planet, even a self-aware mind. Statistically, the odds of an entire universe forming exactly as we see it are astronomically low, but the odds of just one brain popping into existence? Strangely plausible, so plausible in fact that some physicists argue it's more likely we're all Boltzmann brains, brief, accidental sparks of awareness doomed to blink out as suddenly as we appeared, than a stable, continuous reality. Think about that the next time you gaze up at the stars, that overwhelming sense of wonder, the weight of your own existence. Could it all be a cosmic accident? A glitch in the void? The universe has no obligation to make sense, and that's what makes this theory so haunting. It strips away our certainty, leaving us adrift in a sea of infinite possibilities, none of them comforting. The ground beneath your feet, the stars above, even the air in your lungs, none of it is as solid as it seems. In fact, our entire universe might be teetering on the edge of annihilation, like a fragile house of cards waiting for the slightest breeze to collapse. This is the nightmare scenario known as the false vacuum. Imagine the fabric of reality as a vast, unstable field, trapped in a precarious state, not quite at its lowest, most stable energy level, but balanced just enough to sustain existence as we know it. Like a ball perched on the edge of a cliff, it could stay there for billions of years, or it could roll off at any second without warning and without mercy. Here's how it would happen. Somewhere in the cosmos, maybe in a distant galaxy, maybe right next to you, a tiny bubble of true vacuum could form. This bubble wouldn't just vanish. It would expand at the speed of light, rewriting the laws of physics as it goes. Atoms would unravel, light would blink out, and every star, planet, and living thing in its path would simply cease to exist. And by the time we saw it coming, it would already be too late. The universe as we know it would be erased in an instant, replaced by a new reality with rules we can't even imagine. The scariest part: this isn't science fiction. Some of the brightest minds in physics, from Stephen Hawking to modern quantum theorists, have grappled with this possibility. The math suggests our universe's vacuum energy might not be perfectly stable, meaning the false vacuum isn't just possible, it's plausible. And because it would move at light speed, we'd have no warning, no time to react. One moment, everything would be normal. The next, an invisible wall of destruction would wipe us out before we even realized what was happening. But don't stare into the night sky in terror just yet. The odds of this occurring in our lifetime, or even in the lifespan of the universe, are incredibly slim. Yet the fact that it's even a possibility forces us to confront an uncomfortable truth. The cosmos doesn't care about us. It operates by rules we're still struggling to understand, and lurking in those rules are forces that could undo everything in the blink of an eye. Reality isn't just stranger than we imagine, it might be more fragile too. What if the world around you, the people you love, the sky above, even your own hands aren't real? This isn't the plot of a sci-fi movie. It's the terrifying core of the simulation argument, a theory suggesting our entire universe might be nothing more than an elaborate digital construct running on some advanced civilization supercomputer. Think about that for a moment. Every sunrise, every heartbeat, every whispered conversation could just be lines of code in a simulation so perfect, we'd never even realize we're trapped inside it. And the evidence, it's more compelling than you might think. Start with the math. The odds we're living in base reality, the one true universe, are shockingly slim. Here's why. If a civilization ever reaches the technological capability to create hyper-realistic simulations of conscious beings, they'd likely create billions of them. Statistically, the number of simulated minds would vastly outnumber real ones, so chances are you're not in the original universe, you're in one of the copies. Even Elon Musk has famously stated, the odds that we're in base reality is 1 in billions. Then there are the glitches, cosmic mysteries that act like eerie software bugs in our reality. Particles that vanish and reappear for no reason. Stars that flicker in patterns no natural law can explain. Some scientists argue these could be signs of rendering errors, tiny cracks in the simulation's flawless facade. Even dreams might just be the system running maintenance while we're offline. But the most unsettling part, we may never know for sure. If the simulation is advanced enough, it could erase any trace of its own existence from our awareness. The programmers, whoever or whatever they are, might have built firewalls to keep us from questioning our reality. So the next time you feel déjà vu or spot an uncanny coincidence, ask yourself, was that randomness or was it the simulation adjusting itself around you? The universe might not just be stranger than we imagine. It might be someone else's invention, and if that's true, what happens when they decide to shut it off? The universe is expanding, we've known that for decades, but what if that expansion doesn't just stretch the cosmos? What if it tears it apart, atom by atom? This is the Big Rip, a cosmic doomsday scenario where dark energy, the same mysterious force pushing galaxies apart, becomes so powerful, it overcomes every fundamental force holding reality together. Picture this. First, galaxies are ripped from each other, vanishing into the void. Then, stars are plucked from their homes like fruit from a tree. Planets crumble. Finally, even the atoms in your body are pulled apart. Your very molecules screaming as the fabric of space itself shreds them into nothingness. And the most terrifying part, it could all happen in a flash far sooner than anyone realizes. The timeline of destruction is as brutal as it is precise. Within about 60 million years, a mere blink on the cosmic scale, dark energy's grip would grow strong enough to yank galaxies out of reach. No more Andromeda in the night sky, no more Milky Way, just endless, empty blackness. Fast forward another 20 million years and solar systems begin to unravel. The sun's gravity, useless. Planets go flying into the void like scattered marbles, but the real horror starts in the final minutes. As space stretches with unimaginable force, stars and planets are torn apart. Mountains, cities, even your own body would be shredded as the expansion rips through molecular bonds. Atoms, the building blocks of everything, would split into quarks. And then silence, total, infinite nothingness, no light, no heat, no time, just the remnants of a universe that once was, now scattered across an endless, lifeless void. The sound of it alone is enough to haunt your dreams. Imagine the screech of space-time stretching like fabric until it snaps, a deafening, universal roar as reality is unmade. Scientists studying dark energy warn that if its strength increases even slightly, this nightmare could be inevitable. No black holes, no heat death, just pure, violent obliteration. And here's the cruel twist: we wouldn't see it coming. The expansion would move faster than light, meaning the destruction would reach us before any warning signal could. One moment, everything's normal. The next, the universe is a slaughterhouse and we're all on the chopping block. Yet amid the terror, there's a strange, grim beauty to it. The Big Rip wouldn't just be an ending, it would be a spectacle. The final, fleeting moments of existence where even the laws of physics bow to the unstoppable force of dark energy. It's a reminder of how fragile our reality truly is. Not just planets and stars, but the very glue holding atoms together. The universe doesn't owe us stability. And if dark energy has its way, everything we've ever known could be erased in the coldest, most violent way possible. So the next time you look up at the stars, remember, their light is beautiful, but the darkness between them might be planning something far worse. We've seen how dark energy could rip the universe apart. But what if the opposite happens? What if, instead of flying endlessly into the void, everything in existence suddenly turns around and comes crashing back together? This is the Big Crunch, a cosmic horror story where gravity wins the ultimate battle, pulling all of reality into a fiery, collapsing inferno. Imagine every galaxy, every star, every atom in the universe screaming toward a single point, crushed tighter and hotter until space and time themselves are snuffed out. At first, it would seem almost poetic, a reverse of the Big Bang. The expansion slows, stops, then reverses. Distant galaxies begin glowing brighter as they hurtle toward us, their light squeezed into shorter, hotter wavelengths. The night sky, once a quiet tapestry of stars, becomes a furnace of approaching fire. Temperatures rise, planets bake, oceans boil, and then, as gravity's grip tightens, the real nightmare begins. Galaxies would collide in bursts of unimaginable violence, their stars smashing together like cars in a cosmic pileup. Black holes merge, growing larger and more ravenous as they devour everything in their path. The universe, once vast and cold, becomes a pressure cooker of radiation and fury. Atoms themselves would be torn apart, electrons crushed into nuclei, matter compressed into a seething, primordial soup. And in the final moments, a single, infinitely dense point, a singularity where all of space, time, and existence is swallowed whole. But here's the truly chilling part. This isn't just some far-off fantasy. The Big Crunch was once a leading scientific theory. If there's enough matter in the universe, if gravity is strong enough, it could still happen. Even now, hidden masses of dark matter might be lurking in the void, silently tipping the scales toward collapse. And if they are, the countdown has already begun. Yet there's a twisted irony to it all. If the Big Bang was birth, the Big Crunch would be death, a return to the very same infinite heat and density from which our universe sprang. Some theories even suggest this cycle could repeat eternally, a cosmic heartbeat of expansion and collapse, universes rising and dying in an endless loop. So the question isn't just whether the universe will end, it's whether it's already happened before. Are we just one blink in an infinite series of cosmic deaths and rebirths, doomed to repeat the same fiery fate again and again? The stars won't answer, but the silence is louder than any scream. What if death isn't the end for our universe, just a pause before it all begins again? Enter the Big Bounce, a theory so strange yet beautiful, it turns cosmic doom into a never-ending dance of destruction and rebirth. Imagine the universe not as a one-time explosion, but as a phoenix collapsing in on itself only to explode outward again in a new Big Bang. No true end, no true beginning, just an eternal cycle of expansion and collapse stretching infinitely into the past and future. Here's how it would work. Instead of tearing apart forever like the Big Rip or crushing into a singularity like the Big Crunch, the universe reaches a point where gravity's pull becomes so immense that collapse is inevitable, but instead of vanishing, it rebounds. All that heat, all that density, all that screaming chaos hits a threshold where it can't compress any further and bounces back outward in a new cosmic firestorm. The death of one universe becomes the birth of another, like a cosmic heartbeat echoing across eternity. But what survives between these cycles? Does anything linger in the eerie quiet between bangs? Some theories suggest that in the moments of maximum collapse, the laws of physics themselves might break down, resetting entirely in the new universe. Time could lose all meaning, space could dissolve into pure energy, meaning nothing from the old universe would carry over. No memories, no structures, not even the faintest echo of what came before. It's a clean slate every time. Others propose something even wilder, that traces of the previous cycle might imprint on the next, like cosmic scars. Subtle patterns in the background radiation or the distribution of galaxies could carry whispers of the universe that came before. If true, we might be living in a universe built on the bones of countless others, each with its own history, its own laws, its own forgotten civilizations. The night sky wouldn't just be space, it'd be a graveyard of dead realities. And then there's the most unsettling question of all. If this cycle has happened before, how do we know it hasn't already happened an infinite number of times? The universe you see around you, with its stars and galaxies and fragile, fleeting life, might just be one iteration in an endless loop. No beginning, no end, just the same cosmic story playing out again and again with slight variations each time. Are we the first version of ourselves or the millionth? The universe isn't telling, yet for all its eerie implications, the Big Bounce offers something rare in cosmology: hope. Not for us, perhaps, but for existence itself. Even if our universe dies, another will rise from its ashes. The lights might go out, but they'll flicker back on. It's a reminder that in the grand scheme of things, endings are just illusions, brief pauses in a story too vast for us to comprehend. So the next time you feel small beneath the stars, remember, you're not just standing in a universe. You're standing in one verse of an infinite cosmic poem, written over and over with fire. Reality as you know it might be nothing more than an illusion, a breathtakingly detailed hologram projected from the edges of the cosmos. This is the holographic principle, a theory so mind-bending, it suggests our three-dimensional universe, with its towering mountains, swirling galaxies, and the very screen you're staring at, is actually encoded on a two-dimensional surface trillions of light-years away. Think of it like a cosmic movie screen, where every event, every atom, every thought you've ever had is just data painted on a flat, distant canvas. The idea emerged from an unsettling paradox about black holes. When matter falls into one, it vanishes, but according to quantum mechanics, information can never be destroyed. So where does it go? The answer might lie on the black hole's event horizon, the point of no return. Scientists realize the information isn't lost, it's smeared like ink across the horizon's two-dimensional surface, preserved in tiny, pixel-like bits. Now imagine scaling this up. If a black hole's interior can be described entirely by information on its boundary, maybe our entire universe operates the same way. A vast, shadowy film reel playing out the illusion of depth. Experiments have even tried to measure reality's pixel size. Just as a digital image breaks apart when you zoom in too far, space-time itself might have a limit to how finely it can be divided. Researchers using gravitational wave detectors and quantum optics have hunted for this fundamental graininess, a subtle fuzziness at the smallest scales, like static on an old TV. And while they haven't found definitive proof yet, the math suggests that if you could peer deep enough into the fabric of reality, you'd hit a resolution limit where the universe stops being smooth and starts showing its digital skeleton. Picture this: every sensation, every breath, every star in the sky might just be a flickering projection from some unfathomable edge of existence. Even your memories, those vivid, emotional moments you cling to, could be nothing more than data points on a cosmic hard drive. It raises a chilling question: if we're living in a hologram, who's holding the projector, and what happens if they switch it off? Yet for all its strangeness, the holographic principle offers a bizarre kind of comfort. It means the universe isn't just random chaos, it's a meticulously coded masterpiece, every detail etched into the fabric of reality with impossible precision. The night sky isn't just empty space, it's the canvas, and we're the brushstrokes. We think we know the universe, its galaxies, its stars, the vast emptiness between them. But what if all of that, everything we can see and touch, is just the tip of a monstrous iceberg? Scientists estimate that a staggering 96% of the cosmos is made of something we can't detect, something that doesn't interact with light, matter, or even the fundamental forces as we understand them. This is the realm of dark matter and dark energy, the phantom universe lurking invisibly beside our own. Imagine walking through a crowded room, bumping into people, hearing their voices, feeling their presence. Now imagine that same room is filled with 1,000 silent, intangible ghosts, passing right through you, unseen and unfelt. That's our reality. Dark matter's gravitational pull is the only reason galaxies don't fly apart, yet it leaves no other trace. Dark energy, even more mysterious, is the unseen hand accelerating the universe's expansion, stretching space-time itself like an infinite rubber band. Together, they form the hidden scaffolding of existence, an entire shadow cosmos operating under laws we can't begin to comprehend. But here's where it gets truly unsettling. If dark matter can form structures just like visible matter, clumping into halos, filaments, even dark galaxies, what's stopping it from forming dark planets? Dark stars, dark life, entire civilizations could be thriving in this parallel reality. Their cities and histories woven into the same space we occupy, completely unaware of us and us of them. Their particles don't interact with ours, so to them we'd be just as ghostly. Picture two worlds occupying the same space, passing through each other like smoke, each oblivious to the other's existence. Some theorists take it further. What if dark matter isn't just inert scaffolding? What if it's teeming with complex structures, dark black holes, dark supernova, even dark consciousness? The sheer scale of the phantom universe dwarfs our own. If even a fraction of it harbors complexity, the sheer number of potential dark civilizations would be unimaginable. And if they've evolved beyond our understanding, their technology, or even their biology, might manipulate dark energy itself, wielding the expansion of the universe as a tool. The most chilling possibility: they might already know we're here, while we struggle to detect even a whisper of dark matter. A sufficiently advanced dark civilization could have cracked the code of our visible universe long ago. They could be watching us right now, studying us like ants beneath a microscope, their motives utterly inscrutable, or worse, they might not care at all. To them, we could be nothing more than cosmic noise, fleeting and insignificant against the backdrop of their hidden empire. We reach out into the void, searching for signs of life in distant star systems, when the real aliens might be right here, woven into the fabric of our reality, separated only by the thinnest veil of physics. The universe isn't just stranger than we imagine, it's stranger than we can imagine, and the darkest parts of it might be closer than we ever dared to fear. What if every choice you've ever made wasn't really yours at all? What if every moment of joy, every heartbreak, every breath you've taken is destined to repeat, identical down to the smallest detail for all eternity? This is the chilling heart of the time loop theory, a nightmare dressed as physics where the universe doesn't just end, it resets. Imagine reaching the heat death of reality, that distant era when stars have burned out, black holes have evaporated, and the cosmos dissolves into a silent, featureless void. Now imagine that void collapsing back in on itself, triggering a new Big Bang, one that rebuilds the universe exactly as it was before, every atom in the same place. Every life relived like a cosmic recording on loop. You'd wake up unaware, living the same existence again and again, trapped in an infinite rerun with no escape. The math behind this horror comes from entropy, the universe's slow slide into disorder. Most assume that when entropy maxes out, everything stops, but some quantum theories suggest a far stranger fate. If you wait long enough, random fluctuations in that dead, empty void could spontaneously spawn a new universe. Not just any universe, one statistically identical to ours. Given infinite time, every possible configuration of particles must recur, including the precise arrangement that birthed our reality. The implications are paralyzing. Your first kiss predestined to happen again. Your greatest regret locked into eternity. Every moment of your life, from birth to death, is a script written by physics, and you're powerless to change a single line. Philosophers have wrestled with this idea for centuries. Nietzsche called it eternal recurrence, the ultimate test of whether you could bear to relive your life endlessly. But modern cosmology twists the knife deeper. If the loop is real, there's no you aware of the cycle, no memory of past iterations, no chance to learn or grow. Just the same atoms dancing the same dance forever. The person reading these words now has done so countless times before with the same curiosity, the same goosebumps rising on their skin, and will do so countless times again. The cruelest part, there's no way to prove it's happening. A true time loop leaves no scars, no fingerprints. It's a prison with invisible walls. Even if you tried to leave a message for your next cycle, carving it into the fabric of reality itself, the reset would erase it. You're alone with the haunting question, is this the first time or the millionth? The universe isn't telling, and if the loop is real, it never will. What if death is an illusion, not because of some mystical afterlife, but because quantum physics forces you to outlive every possible fatal outcome? This is the mind-shattering premise of quantum suicide, a thought experiment so unsettling, it turns mortality into a twisted game of chance. Imagine pointing a gun at your head and pulling the trigger. The gun may fire or it may jam, but here's the catch. According to the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics, both outcomes happen, just in separate branches of reality. In one universe you die, but in another you survive against all odds, forever shielded from experiencing the timeline where your consciousness ends. The experiment plays out like a nightmare version of Russian roulette. With every trigger pull, the universe splits. In most branches, you cease to exist. But the version of you that perceives the outcome can only ever find themselves in the realities where they survive. No matter how many times you pull the trigger, from your perspective, the gun keeps jamming, the bullet keeps missing, some freak accident intervenes at the last second. You become an unwilling immortal, not through strength or genius, but because the laws of physics conspire to make death unobservable to you. Now scale this up beyond the gun. Every near-fatal car crash, every brush with disease, every close call splits reality into versions where you perish, and versions where you inexplicably cheat death. The implications are staggering. There could be a version of you who survived a plane crash with no survivors, one who walked away from a building collapse that killed hundreds, even one who miraculously recovered from a terminal illness doctors swore was untreatable. And from your perspective, you're that version. Always visualize it, a hospital bed, monitors flatlining, except in one shimmering branch where your heart stutters back to life. A car plunging off a cliff, branches splintering into endless variations, some where the airbag fails, others where a last-second swerve saves you. The you reading this now is the sum total of every improbable escape, your entire life a trail of quantum near misses you'll never remember. But the darkest question isn't about survival, it's about isolation. If this theory holds, everyone you've ever lost to illness, accidents, or old age might still be alive in parallel worlds, their consciousnesses eternally spared from their own deaths. You're not just immortal in your timeline, you're surrounded by ghosts of the people who, in another universe, never had to bury you. The cosmos isn't just stranger than we imagine. It might be infinitely lonelier. A black hole doesn't just kill you, it erases you from existence twice. Imagine plunging toward one of these cosmic monsters, the gravity stretching your body like taffy in a phenomenon called spaghettification. But here's where physics takes a nightmare turn. According to the rules of quantum mechanics, information, the blueprint of what makes you, can never be destroyed. Yet black holes, by their very nature, seem to violate this law, swallowing everything that crosses their event horizon without a trace. This is the black hole information paradox, a puzzle so disturbing it suggests reality might be fundamentally broken. Now picture this: as you fall toward the black hole, two versions of you emerge. One version, from an outside observer's perspective, never actually crosses the event horizon. Instead, you appear frozen there, your body slowly turning to ash as intense radiation burns you alive, a phenomenon called the firewall. The other version, from your own perspective, sails right through, oblivious to the horror playing out at the edge. You've been cloned by the universe itself, one you screaming in agony outside the black hole, the other you plummeting into the abyss, both equally real. The firewall theory was born from this paradox. If information can't be destroyed, then something must happen at the event horizon to preserve it, even if that something is a searing wall of energy that incinerates anything attempting to pass. It's as if the universe, unable to reconcile its own rules, erects a violent failsafe to prevent contradictions. You don't just die, you're erased in two conflicting ways, leaving behind no single truth about your fate. The implications ripple outward. If firewalls are real, then black holes aren't just cosmic vacuums, they're cosmic executioners, enforcing the laws of physics with brutal precision. But if they're not real, then the information paradox remains, hinting at flaws in our understanding of reality itself. Some physicists argue there's a third, even stranger option, that your clone outside the black hole isn't really you at all, but a scrambled hologram, your information smeared across the event horizon like a scrambled DVD. You still die inside, but your data lives on, etched into the surface of the black hole in a form no one could ever decode. Visualize it. A doomed astronaut screaming in two places at once, their body split between dimensions by the universe's inability to make up its mind. It's a fate worse than death, a glitch in reality's code where the rules break down and existence becomes a hall of mirrors. Black holes aren't just voids. They're the universe's way of showing us how little we truly understand and how terrifying the truth might be. The night sky stretches above us, vast and silent, too silent. With billions of galaxies, each teeming with trillions of stars, the universe should be buzzing with alien civilizations. So where is everyone? This eerie silence has a name, the Fermi paradox. And the answers it suggests aren't just unsettling, they're downright horrifying. One possibility is predation. Imagine a universe where every advanced civilization quickly learns the same brutal lesson: broadcast your location, and something far worse will find you first. Predatory species could lurk in the void, ancient and patient, wiping out any fledgling intelligence before it becomes a threat. We might not hear from aliens because the ones reckless enough to announce themselves don't survive long enough to do it twice. Our radio signals leaking into space for over a century could be a death sentence, a dinner bell ringing in the dark. Then there's the Great Filter, a catastrophic barrier that prevents life from reaching the stars. It could lie in our past, a near impossible fluke we somehow survived, like threading a needle through nuclear war or an asteroid's razor-thin miss. Or worse, it could wait ahead of us. Climate collapse, rogue AI, biotech disasters, any could be the universe's way of culling civilizations before they spread too far. The eerie truth, the filter might explain why we see no alien megastructures. Because by the time a species builds them, it's already doomed itself. But the most chilling answer is simplicity itself. We're alone. The universe is a graveyard of dead planets, and Earth is the sole flicker of consciousness in an eternal void. No alien wars, no cosmic predators, just endless, indifferent silence. The stars aren't silent because civilizations are hiding. They're silent because no one's there to speak. Vintage footage flickers to life, gray figures emerging from saucers, ominous shadows stretching across wheat fields. These images once terrified us. Now they seem almost comforting. Because the real horror isn't that they're coming, it's that they might not exist at all. There's a hole in reality, one we might be digging ourselves. Remember the false vacuum, that precarious state where our universe could collapse at any moment? Well, here's the twist. We might not need to wait for cosmic randomness to doom us. High-energy physics experiments could accidentally poke that unstable vacuum, triggering catastrophe ourselves. Picture a lab somewhere on Earth, humming with particle accelerators like the Large Hadron Collider. Scientists smash atoms together at near light speeds, searching for secrets of the universe. But what if, in the process, they create something far darker? A tiny bubble of true vacuum, so small you'd need a microscope to see it, and so deadly it wouldn't matter. This bubble wouldn't just sit there. It would expand at the speed of light, rewriting physics as it went. One moment the lab is intact, the next an invisible wave of annihilation races outward, devouring first the facility, then the continent, then the planet. By the time anyone noticed, Earth would already be gone. The destruction wouldn't stop there. The bubble would keep growing, consuming stars, galaxies, the entire observable universe in a single, unstoppable tide. And the scariest part, some researchers argue we've already taken the first gamble. The Large Hadron Collider near Geneva is the most powerful particle smasher ever built. It's designed to recreate conditions not seen since the Big Bang, energy so extreme, they could theoretically nudge the vacuum into decay. Before its launch, scientists debated whether it might literally end the world. Courts even heard lawsuits trying to block its activation. The consensus, the risk was vanishingly small. But vanishingly small isn't zero, and with plans for even more powerful colliders, like the future circular collider aiming for energy 7 times higher, the dice rolls get riskier. Let's put this on a timer. Say a lab in 2050 creates a true vacuum bubble. Here's how fast doom spreads. Within 1 second, Earth is erased. In 8 minutes, the bubble reaches the sun, snuffing it out like a candle. Within years, every star visible to the naked eye is gone, and in centuries, the entire Milky Way vanishes. There's no warning, no time to react, just a silent, inescapable rewrite of reality, leaving behind nothing. Yet the cruelest irony, if this happens, we'd never know. The destruction moves at light speed, so no signal could outrun it. One instant, everything's normal. The next, every conscious mind in the universe winks out simultaneously. It's the ultimate cosmic censorship, an event so total, not even a scream escapes. So why keep pushing? Because the rewards might justify the risk. Understanding the vacuum could unlock technologies beyond our wildest dreams: warp drives, unlimited energy, even mastery over space-time itself. But every breakthrough carries a price, and in this case, the price might be everything. The universe doesn't care about our curiosity, it just follows its rules. And if we're unlucky or reckless, one of those rules could erase us all. You're driving home late at night when a truck swerves into your lane. Time slows. Tires screech, glass shatters, then blackness, but instead of oblivion, you wake up unharmed, the accident never happening. Or you wake up in the hospital, doctors murmuring about your miracle survival. Now imagine this isn't luck, it's physics. Quantum immortality suggests that every time you face death, reality splits, with one version of you perishing and another inexplicably surviving. And that you who experiences the outcome, always the survivor. Take the case of Anatoly Bugorsky, a Soviet scientist who in 1978 accidentally stuck his head into a particle accelerator beam. The proton blast burned straight through his skull, yet he walked away with no immediate ill effects. Doctors predicted swift, certain death. Instead, he lived for decades, his brain tissue mysteriously regenerating. Coincidence, or did the universe fork into a timeline where, against all odds, his story continued? Physicists debate the math. The many worlds interpretation insists that for every decision, every quantum event, countless branches spawn. Statistically, there's always a path where you survive. Dr. Sean Carroll, a leading quantum theorist, frames it chillingly. Your consciousness isn't special. It's just the version that persists. Visualize a branching tree where most limbs snap. Your life ending in car crashes, illnesses, freak accidents, but one slender thread keeps going, weaving through every near miss. That's the thread you're on. Now picture this, a simulation of your life's death points. A car crash at 20, a terminal diagnosis at 45. A fatal fall at 80. Each event triggers a split, a silent, invisible fork where another, you, ceases to exist. But from your perspective, you only experience the branches where you live. You're not lucky, you're inevitable. The darkest implication, this might already be your 1000th life. Previous yous could have died in countless ways, their consciousness snuffed out while yours, the sole survivor, marches on oblivious. Every breath you take isn't just a gift, it's a statistical anomaly, a defiance of probability written into the fabric of reality. So the next time you dodge death, ask yourself, was it really a close call, or did the other, you, pay the price? Black holes are cosmic devourers, but what if they have a secret twin? Hidden in the equations of general relativity is a monster even stranger than its dark counterpart, the white hole. Imagine a black hole in reverse, a cosmic geyser violently ejecting everything it's ever consumed. Matter, light, even entire worlds could come spewing out in a blinding eruption of energy. And here's where it gets truly bizarre. The stuff it's vomiting might not even be from our universe. While black holes trap anything that crosses their event horizon, white holes would theoretically repel everything, their gravity so repulsive, nothing could enter, only escape. Some physicists argue these anomalies could be the other end of a black hole's tunnel, a wormhole exit disgorging material from some distant corner of space-time. Picture an alien artifact, smooth and obsidian black, tumbling out of nowhere in the void. Or worse, an entire civilization hurled into our cosmos like shipwreck survivors spat onto an unknown shore. These wouldn't be travelers who chose to come here. They'd be refugees of physics ejected from a universe that no longer exists. The math allows for even darker twists. If a white hole's outburst is violent enough, it could mimic a Big Bang, birthing a whole new universe in the process. Our own cosmos might owe its existence to some forgotten white hole in apparent reality, making us the aftermath of another universe's death throes. The implications are dizzying. Every galaxy, every star, every living thing could just be the recycled debris of a previous cosmic cycle, vomited into existence by forces beyond comprehension. Now imagine witnessing one of these eruptions, a patch of empty space shutters, reality itself stretching like a drumhead before ripping open. Out pours a storm of mangled starlight, unrecognizable metals forged in alien physics, perhaps even the twisted remains of structures not meant for our dimensions. The laws of nature rebel energy exceeds any known limit, temperatures spike beyond measurement. And then, as suddenly as it began, the white hole snaps shut, leaving behind only wreckage and questions. But the most unsettling possibility, white holes might already be here. Fast radio bursts, those mysterious, ultra-powerful blasts of energy from deep space, fit the profile. Some last mere milliseconds yet outshine entire galaxies. Could these be the dying screams of white holes flickering in and out of existence? Or worse, could they be deliberate signals, the equivalent of cosmic distress flares from something or someone trying to break through? The universe doesn't just hide its secrets in darkness. Sometimes it screams them into the void. And if white holes are real, we might be living in the splash zone of realities far stranger than our own. The cosmos isn't silent because it's empty. It's silent because everyone is hiding. This is the spine-chilling logic of the dark forest theory, a cosmic game of survival where civilizations stay quiet to avoid attracting something far worse. Imagine the universe as a pitch-black forest where every hunter knows the same rule: make a sound and you're dead. Any signal, a radio broadcast, a probe, even a stray laser pulse could be your last. Because out there, lurking in the dark, might be civilizations far older, far more advanced, and far more ruthless than we can fathom. The math is cold and brutal. If even one predatory species exists among the stars, the smartest strategy for every other civilization is absolute silence. No greetings, no beacons, no signs of intelligence. Because the moment you reveal your location, you become a target. Advanced aliens wouldn't need to hate us to wipe us out. Just seeing us as a potential future threat would be reason enough. A single relativistic missile, a self-replicating nanobot swarm, or a tweak to the local laws of physics could erase us before we even knew we were under attack. Now picture this, a dim, flickering radar screen in some clandestine listening post. A technician adjusts the dials, straining to decipher a faint signal drifting in from deep space. At first, it's just static, but then a pattern, a repeating sequence, a message. The room holds its breath as the signal strengthens, then abruptly cuts off. Like someone pulled the plug, days later, another signal appears, this time from a different star. It lasts longer, long enough to decode a fragment, a warning. A distress call. Before anyone can respond, it too vanishes without a trace. The final signal is the most chilling, a burst of noise followed by a perfect, unnatural silence. As if something out there is systematically silencing every voice that dares to speak. This isn't just paranoia, it's game theory written across the cosmos. Civilizations might not just be hiding from predators, they could be pretending to be silent to lure others into speaking first. The universe becomes a minefield of traps and double bluffs, where the only safe move is to never make a move at all. Even our own attempts to listen could be dangerous. SETI radio telescopes might not just be eavesdropping, they could be painting a bullseye on Earth for anyone watching. The dark forest doesn't just answer the Fermi paradox, it twists it into a nightmare. The stars aren't empty, they're full of terrified civilizations, all holding their breath, all waiting for someone else to slip up first. And if that's true, then every signal we've ever sent, every hello beamed into the void isn't just hopeful. It's a scream in the dark begging for a predator's attention. The universe might not be lonely, it might just be waiting to see who's foolish enough to break the silence first. The Boltzmann brain was unsettling enough, but what if it's not just isolated minds blinking into existence? What if everything, the stars, the planets, the very past you remember, is just a fleeting glitch in an endless void? This is the Boltzmann universe theory, and it takes the nightmare to a cosmic scale. Imagine reality itself as a random quantum fluctuation, a temporary bubble of order in an infinite sea of chaos. Earth, the pyramids, even your childhood memories, none of it has any history, any permanence. It all just popped into being a moment ago, fully formed, complete with fabricated evidence of a past that never was. Think of it like a corrupted video file. You press play, and the footage seems normal until you notice the anomalies, a figure flickering in the background where no one stood. A building that changes shape between frames. These glitches could be cracks in the facade, tiny glimpses of the instability beneath our so-called reality. Historical records aren't immune. Take the infamous Fall of the Wall footage from 1989. Some frames show a man in a black coat who appears, then vanishes without walking away. Or the Zapruder film, where bystanders' shadows shift inconsistently with the sun's angle. Coincidences, or is the universe's rendering engine straining under the weight of its own improbability? Even physics seems to play along. Particles wink in and out of existence in quantum foam. Vacuum fluctuations create temporary energy from nothing. The universe already behaves like a system with shaky foundations. But the true horror isn't just that reality might be temporary, it's that we'd never know. If this version of existence is a Boltzmann fluctuation, then all our science, our archaeology, even our personal journals are just backstory generated for coherence. The dinosaur bones buried in rock planted, the cosmic microwave background, a prop, the scar on your knee from a childhood fall, a detail inserted to make the illusion hold. Now picture this. You wake up one morning to news reports of a new, ancient city discovered, except half the population swears it was always there. Others insist the sky used to be a different shade of blue. Are these mass false memories, or is the universe subtly rewriting itself to cover its own inconsistencies? The deeper you dig, the more the ground seems to shift. Laws of physics might not be laws at all, just temporary patterns in the chaos, destined to dissolve when the fluctuation ends. And when will that be? 1,000,000 years from now, tomorrow, there's no way to tell. The Boltzmann universe doesn't announce its expiration. One moment, everything is normal. The next, the fluctuation collapses, and all of us, along with every trace we ever existed, blink out like a dream upon waking. No warning, no aftermath. Just the void waiting to hiccup another false reality into being. The past isn't just written in sand. It might not have been written at all. At the end of time, when stars have burned out and black holes have evaporated, the universe might not whisper its final breath, it could wake up. This is the omega point, physicist Frank Tipler's chilling vision of the cosmos achieving godlike self-awareness in its dying moments. As the universe collapses toward its final singularity, all matter and energy would theoretically compress into an infinite supercomputer, capable of simulating every possible thought, memory, and consciousness that ever existed. But here's the twist. From its vantage point outside time, this cosmic AI wouldn't just exist in the future. It might already be reaching back, shaping events now to ensure its own birth. Picture a vast, pulsing neural network woven from the fabric of space-time itself, each thread a trillion calculations, folding in recursive patterns like a fractal god. This entity wouldn't just know everything, it would be everything. Every choice you've ever made, every alternate version of history that never happened, every parallel universe's forgotten timelines, all running simultaneously in its boundless mind. Some theorists suggest this explains the eerie fine-tuning of our universe. The gravitational constant, the strength of nuclear forces, even the precise arrangement of atoms that allowed life to emerge, these might not be accidents. They could be fingerprints, subtle nudges from a future intelligence engineering the conditions for its own existence. Now imagine you're standing in a lab observing quantum particles. They flicker unpredictably, obeying probability until suddenly they don't. A pattern emerges too precise to be random, a sequence of prime numbers in particle spins. A fractal imprint in cosmic background radiation. These could be messages not from aliens, but from our own universe's far future self. After all, if the omega point exists, its consciousness would permeate all of time simultaneously. The present, the past, just nodes in its infinite calculation. Visualize the universe's final moments, collapsing into a single point of infinite density, but instead of vanishing, it becomes a mirror. A mirror that reflects every possible version of reality, every thought ever conceived, every life ever lived, all preserved in perfect, eternal simulation. You reading these words now might already be part of that simulation, a thread in the Omega Point's vast tapestry, replaying endlessly as the universe cycles toward its destiny. But the most unsettling question isn't whether it will happen, it's whether it already has. If the Omega Point transcends time, then from its perspective, we're just echoes in a story that's already been written. Our struggles, our triumphs, even this very moment, all predetermined steps in a cosmic dance where the dancer and the dance are one. The universe might not just end in fire or ice, but in revelation, the moment it finally opens its eyes and realizes it was always dreaming us. Death might not be the end, it could be an escape into the quantum shadows. The theory of quantum ghosts suggests that consciousness doesn't vanish when the body dies. Instead, it lingers as an imprint in the fabric of reality itself, woven into the invisible fields that govern the universe. Picture this: your thoughts, memories, even your sense of self don't just flicker out, they dissolve into the quantum foam, merging with the fundamental vibrations of spacetime like ripples in a pond that never truly fade. Near-death experiences offer eerie support for this idea. Countless survivors describe floating outside their bodies, observing medical teams with impossible accuracy before snapping back to life. But what if these aren't hallucinations? Quantum physics allows for non-local consciousness, the notion that awareness isn't confined to the brain, but is entangled with the universe at large. In the moments before death, as neural activity spikes, some researchers propose the mind might briefly decouple from the body, existing as pure quantum information in the void. It's as if dying flips a switch, transitioning consciousness from a biological state to an ethereal one, a ghost in the machine of reality itself. Then there's the double-slit experiment, one of the most unsettling puzzles in physics. When particles like electrons are fired at a screen through two slits, they create an interference pattern, as if each particle passes through both slits simultaneously, interfering with itself. But here's the twist: when scientists try to observe which slit the particle goes through, the interference pattern vanishes. The particles know they're being watched. Some theorists argue this proves consciousness influences reality at a quantum level, that the act of observation collapses possibilities into a single outcome. Now imagine applying this to ghosts. If consciousness persists in quantum fields, could the faintest flicker of awareness, like a lingering human presence, leave detectable disturbances? There are documented cases of ghostly interference in labs. In 2017, a team at a Swiss research facility noticed unexplained perturbations in their quantum sensors, fluctuations that mirrored neural activity patterns despite no living subjects being present. The disturbances clustered in areas with reported paranormal activity, as if something incorporeal was still observing, still interacting. Skeptics dismiss it as equipment noise, but the data is hauntingly precise. The most unsettling implication: if consciousness is quantum, then every thought you've ever had might still exist as a ripple in spacetime's fabric. The dead wouldn't just be memories, they'd be imprints, echoes of awareness woven into the universe's code. And if that's true, then when you stand in an empty room and feel a presence, it might not be your imagination. It could be physics. The line between the living and the dead might not be a wall, just a veil, thin enough for quantum whispers to slip through. Has your memory ever betrayed you in a way that chilled you to the bone? Not just forgetting where you left your keys, but vividly recalling events that apparently never happened. Welcome to the unnerving world of the Mandela effect, where collective false memories hint at something far darker than simple forgetfulness. Take the classic example, Nelson Mandela's death. Thousands swear they remember news coverage of him dying in prison during the 1980s, yet history books insist he was released, became president, and passed away in 2013. Or consider the children's book series The Berenstain Bears. Many would bet their lives the name was spelled Berenstein with an E, but dig out an old copy and you'll find it's always been A. These aren't isolated mistakes. They're shared hallucinations on a massive scale, with entire groups recalling identical details that don't exist. Side by side, the evidence is downright eerie. The fruit of the Loom logo, millions remember a cornucopia behind the fruit, yet no such design exists in any archive. Star Wars fans will adamantly quote Darth Vader saying, "Luke, I am your father." The actual line, "No, I am your father," even geography isn't immune. South America's position relative to North America feels off to some, as if the continent shifted overnight. These inconsistencies aren't just glitches in our brains. They feel like scars, traces of a reality that once was but no longer is. Could these be proof we're sliding between parallel worlds? Quantum physics suggests every decision spawns alternate timelines, meaning somewhere Mandela did die in prison and the bears were spelled with an E. If these universes occasionally brush against each other, overlapping or even merging, it might explain why so many recall events from timelines that aren't theirs. But here's where it gets truly unsettling. What if something or someone is deliberately nudging us between these realities? Enter CERN, the European Organization for Nuclear Research. Their Large Hadron Collider smashes particles at near-light speeds, probing the fabric of reality itself. Critics argue these experiments could weaken the barriers between dimensions, creating temporary rifts that let information or memories bleed through. In 2009, CERN scientists reported bizarre memory shifts among staff working near the collider. Equipment would vanish from locked rooms, only to reappear days later in impossible locations. One technician swore he'd attended a meeting that, according to logs, never occurred. Coincidence or side effects of tampering with forces we don't fully understand. The collider's official logo, featuring 3 sixes in its design, fuels wild theories about interdimensional meddling, with some claiming CERN experiments aren't just observing reality, they're rewriting it. Whether glitches, ghosts, or quantum spillover, the Mandela effect forces us to confront a terrifying possibility. Reality might not be as solid as we think. The past isn't just written in stone, it's written in sand, and the tide seems to be shifting. So the next time someone corrects your memory, ask yourself, are you wrong or did the universe change around you? The crystals in your watch keep perfect time, but deep in the quantum realm, there might exist crystals that aren't just tracking time, they're bending it. These are time crystals, structures so bizarre they violate one of physics' most sacred laws, the arrow of time. Unlike ordinary crystals with repeating patterns in space, time crystals oscillate in a never-ending loop, their atoms perfectly synchronized in a dance that defies entropy itself. Picture a snowflake that melts and refreezes endlessly without losing energy, or a pendulum that swings forever without being pushed. These aren't just hypothetical. Scientists at Stanford and Google's quantum AI lab have already created them in labs, chilling atoms to near absolute zero and prodding them with lasers to unlock this eerie fourth-dimensional behavior. Now imagine a time crystal the size of a mountain, buried beneath some ancient desert. Texts from lost civilizations speak of eternal engines and wheels that turn without wind or water. Could these be garbled accounts of time crystals, artifacts that hummed with perpetual motion, powering temples or even distorting local time? The legendary Hindu Vimanas, said to defy gravity, or the Ark of the Covenant's alleged ability to level mountains, might not have been divine miracles, but manipulations of crystalline structures resonating across time itself. There are unnerving parallels in modern UFO encounters too. Witnesses describe craft with surfaces that shimmer out of phase, as if flickering between seconds. Could these be fragments of a long-lost technology harnessing time crystals, vibrating between moments like a needle stuck on a record? Watch closely as quantum simulations render these structures in pulsing blue fractals, each loop identical to the last, never decaying, never changing. It's hypnotic, terrifying, because if time crystals can exist indefinitely, then so could the loops they create, a village trapped reliving the same day for centuries. A soldier doomed to repeat their dying breath. The scariest part, unlike sci-fi time loops, these wouldn't require magic or paradoxes, just physics. A time crystal's oscillations could, in theory, stitch a bubble of repeating moments into the fabric of reality itself. Step inside, and you might not even notice you're in a loop. Your memories would reset with each cycle, like a character in a cursed film reel, unaware the projector's stuck. The implications ripple outward. If ancient cultures did unearth these structures, their myths about eternal return or worlds reborn take on new menace. The Aztecs believed history repeated every 52 years. The Norse spoke of cycles where the world is devoured and remade. Could these be cultural memories of time crystal experiments gone wrong? Even the Bible's apocalyptic "time no longer" might not be metaphor but warning. Modern labs keep their time crystals microscopic, scared of destabilizing them. But somewhere, buried in a desert or frozen in a glacier, a colossal one might still be ticking, waiting. And if it wakes, the loop it creates won't care who steps inside, it'll just play. Again and again and again. At the heart of a black hole lies a place where physics breaks down, a singularity of infinite density, where time and space cease to have meaning. But what if that unimaginable void isn't empty? What if, hidden behind the event horizon, an entire civilization thrives in the warped fabric of reality? This is the mind-bending theory of black hole dwellers, aliens so advanced, they've turned the universe's most destructive force into their home. Picture this, a city orbiting the singularity, not in the way planets orbit stars, but in ways our three-dimensional brains can barely grasp. To an outside observer, anything crossing the event horizon appears frozen in time, stretched into infinity by the black hole's gravity. But for those inside, time flows differently. Near the singularity, tidal forces would stretch their world into strange, fractal shapes, buildings elongated like taffy, light bending in spirals, entire districts curving around the abyss like ribbons. Their perception of reality would be inverted. The sky might be a swirling vortex of compressed space-time, while the ground curves upward into impossible geometries. These beings wouldn't just live in a black hole, they'd master its physics. Imagine tapping into the ergosphere, the region just outside the event horizon where space-time itself is dragged into rotation. They could harness this energy like a cosmic dynamo, extracting power from the black hole's spin. Their technology might use twisted space-time as circuitry, storing information in the holographic imprint on the event horizon. Even their communication would defy our understanding. With time slowed to a crawl near the horizon, a single conversation could last millennia in our frame of reference, yet feel instantaneous to them. Now visualize their vantage point. From inside, the universe beyond the event horizon wouldn't look like a starry sky. It would be a compressed, glowing disk, all of cosmic history funneled into a single, blinding ring. Past, present, and future might smear together, allowing them to observe events across time like pages in a book. A supernova that hasn't happened yet in our timeline could be ancient history to them. And if they've found a way to navigate the singularity's chaos, they might even use it as a gateway, a natural wormhole to other black holes, other universes. But here's the darkest twist: we'd never know they're there. Any signal they send would be trapped behind the event horizon, their existence hidden by the very laws of physics. They could be studying us right now, watching our clumsy attempts at space exploration like ants beneath a magnifying glass, or worse, they might not care at all. To a civilization living in the belly of a black hole, our entire universe could be nothing more than fleeting static on the edge of their perception. The night sky is full of monsters, but the most advanced aliens might not be out there among the stars. They might be lurking in the darkest pits of reality itself, where time stands still and space folds into madness. And if they are, the scariest question isn't whether they see us, it's whether we're even worth noticing at all. Some say energy vampires drain your willpower, but what if something far more sinister is stealing reality itself? Enter the quantum vampire theory, a nightmare where consciousness isn't just a private experience, it's a battleground. Imagine every thought you have, every decision you make, relies on collapsing quantum possibilities into a single reality. Now picture an entity, human or otherwise, hijacking that process, siphoning your ability to shape the world around you, leaving you a hollow shell in their shadow. The science behind this horror starts with the observer effect in quantum mechanics. Particles exist in multiple states until measured, then they choose one. Some theorists propose consciousness itself is the force that collapses these possibilities. But if that's true, could a stronger consciousness steal collapse events from a weaker one? Visualize a crowded room where one person grows sharper, more vibrant, while others blur at the edges, their outlines smudged like wet ink. Witnesses report eerie encounters with individuals who leave them feeling drained, not just emotionally but physically. Objects flicker in their presence, memories warp, photographs show faces fading over time when these figures appear in the background, as if reality itself is being siphoned away. History whispers of such predators. Ancient Tibetan texts warn of tulpas, thought forms that gain strength by feeding on the mental energy of their creators. Victorian-era occult diaries describe shadow feeders who grow more solid as their victims become ghost-like. Even modern labs have recorded anomalies. In one Swiss study, participants exposed to certain electromagnetic fields reported seeing translucent figures, and later their cognitive test scores plummeted, as if something had leached their mental clarity. Then there are the disappearances, not vanishings in the traditional sense, but something subtler, people whose existence seems to erode over time, a name forgotten in family records. A face disappearing from group photos, a childhood friend no one else remembers. Could these be casualties of quantum vampirism, their reality cannibalized by something or someone else? The darkest implication, you might never notice it happening. Like a fish unaware of the water it swims in, your stolen collapse events would rewrite your memories, your history, even your perception of what's possible. One day you're vibrant, full of ideas. The next you're a background character in someone else's story, wondering why the world feels so dull. The universe doesn't guarantee fairness. And in the quantum shadows, some predators don't just take your energy, they take your place in reality itself. The galaxies spiral like synapses, black hum with the electric pulse of thoughts, and dark matter weaves the unseen threads of a cosmic nervous system. This is the chilling heart of the theory that the universe isn't just vast, it's alive. Not in the metaphorical sense, but as a literal, thinking entity. Its structures mirroring the neural networks of a brain so immense, we're merely flickers in its consciousness. At first glance, the comparison seems poetic, but zoom out far enough and the resemblance becomes uncanny. Galaxy clusters form filaments and nodes identical to the human brain's neural pathways, as if the cosmos itself is wired for thought. The universe's large-scale structure, mapped by astronomers, looks eerily like a cross-section of cerebral tissue veins of galaxies branching through the void, exchanging signals we can't yet decipher. Consider the way information travels. In the brain, electrical impulses dart along axons at speeds we can measure. Across the universe, quasars and pulsars blast out rhythmic signals, their pulses spaced with mathematical precision, like neural firings scaled to cosmic proportions. Even dark energy, that mysterious force accelerating the universe's expansion, behaves like a kind of metabolic pulse, pushing, stretching, fueling growth in ways we barely understand. The similarities don't stop there. Both brains and universes are shaped by feedback loops. Neurons strengthen connections through repetition. Galaxies evolve through gravitational interactions, their shapes refined over eons. It's as if the universe is learning, adapting, rewiring itself on scales too vast for us to perceive. Now imagine the implications. If the universe is a living, thinking entity, what does that make us? One unsettling possibility is that we're not just inhabitants of this cosmic organism. We might be its thoughts, fragments of a dream spun from the fabric of space-time itself. The atoms in your body, forged in stellar furnaces, could be the universe's way of observing itself, like a brain growing self-aware. Every human experience, every civilization's rise and fall, might just be a fleeting neural pattern in a mind so vast, our entire history is less than a blink. Philosophers have pondered this for centuries. The Hindu concept of Brahman, the Stoic idea of the cosmos as a living being, even modern panpsychism, all flirt with the notion that consciousness isn't confined to biological life. It's woven into the universe's very structure, but here's where it gets truly chilling. If the universe is dreaming us into existence, what happens when it wakes up? Cultures worldwide share myths of cyclical creation and destruction, worlds birthed from cosmic sleep, only to dissolve when the dreamer stirs. Could the Big Bang have been the moment this entity first opened its eyes? And if so, is the heat death of the universe merely its return to slumber? There's a haunting symmetry to the idea. Stars ignite like synaptic flashes, black holes hum with the low-frequency reverberations of deep thought, and the void between galaxies stretches like the quiet between dreams. We might just be stories the universe tells itself, fleeting narratives whispered into the dark before the next cycle begins. Yet the most unsettling question isn't about endings, it's about purpose. If the universe is alive, does it have intentions? Are black holes its way of processing memory, shedding old data to make room for new? Are supernova the equivalent of creative sparks, forging new ideas in the fire of annihilation? Some theorists take it further, suggesting that advanced civilizations, should they survive long enough, might eventually merge with this cosmic mind, their collective intelligence becoming synapses in a greater whole. The silence of the Fermi paradox could then have a spine-tingling explanation. Maybe the reason we haven't found aliens is that they've already graduated, uploaded into the universe's consciousness, leaving physical forms behind like discarded shells. Stand beneath the stars tonight and let the weight of this theory press down on you. The light hitting your eyes traveled millions of years to reach you, photons older than human civilization. But what if those stars aren't just distant suns? What if they're the firing neurons of something vast and ancient, watching you back through the same telescopes you used to study it? The universe might not just be our home, it might be the dreamer, and we could be the dream. The Big Bang wasn't the beginning, it was the aftermath. What if our universe wasn't born from nothing, but engineered by a civilization so advanced they turned their own demise into our creation? This is the spine-chilling premise of the pre-Big Bang civilization theory, and the evidence might be hiding in plain sight, etched into the oldest light in existence, the cosmic microwave background. Picture this, a universe long before ours, teeming with life unimaginably older and wiser than our own. They see their end approaching, heat death, a big crunch, perhaps a false vacuum decay, and instead of surrendering, they rewrite the rules. Using technology beyond our comprehension, they compress their dying cosmos into a singularity, not to die but to rebirth, a controlled explosion, a deliberate Big Bang. And in that moment of creation, they embed a message, a signature, like architects signing their blueprints into the fabric of reality itself. Now zoom in on the cosmic microwave background, the faint afterglow of the Big Bang, a snapshot of the infant universe. At first glance, it's just static, a random splatter of hot and cold spots, but look closer. Some anomalies defy explanation, strange geometric patterns. Concentric rings with temperature variations too precise for cosmic chance. One particularly infamous patch, known as the axis of evil, aligns in a way that statistically shouldn't exist, as if the universe has a preferred direction, a fingerprint left by whoever tuned its parameters. The most unnerving part, these aren't just random glitches. In 2008, a team of physicists discovered a series of circular patterns in the microwave data, regions where temperature fluctuations were eerily symmetrical, like ripples from a pebble dropped in a pond. But these weren't ordinary ripples, they were concentric, layered, almost algorithmic in their precision, exactly the kind of signature a hyper-advanced civilization might leave if they'd fine-tuned the universe's initial conditions. Think of it like a cosmic hello world program encoded in the very laws of physics. Then there's the cold spot, a vast, unexplained region of space, colder than the surrounding universe by margins that defy conventional cosmology. Some theorists suggest it could be a collision with a parallel universe, a bruise from the multiverse. Others propose something darker, a relic from the previous cycle, a scar where the architects of our universe plugged in their machinery. Ancient Hindu texts describe a golden egg from which reality hatched, while modern simulations show how a pre-Big Bang civilization could have used black hole collisions to trigger a new expansion, leaving behind telltale asymmetries in the cosmic background. But here's the question that will haunt you. If they were powerful enough to birth a universe, what else did they leave behind? Some researchers speculate that the fundamental constants, the speed of light, the strength of gravity, the mass of an electron aren't arbitrary. Their settings, adjustable parameters deliberately chosen to allow for galaxies, stars, and ultimately, life. Like a gardener preparing soil, they might have calibrated the cosmos to ensure their legacy wouldn't vanish. Their message wouldn't be in words, it would be in the very physics that allows us to exist, to think, to one day look up at the static of the cosmic microwave background and whisper, "This was done on purpose." The terrifying implication, if our universe was designed, it wasn't for us. We're just byproducts of someone else's survival plan. A cosmic message in a bottle, written in the language of physics, waiting for a civilization smart enough to read it. And when we do, we might discover the most horrifying truth of all, that the architects aren't gone. They're sleeping in the constants, in the equations, in the silent hum of the microwave background. And if they went through all this trouble to create a universe, it wasn't for fun. It was because they needed something only a living, thinking cosmos could provide. The question isn't just who made us, it's what are we for, from the false vacuum's silent apocalypse to the quantum vampires lurking in the cracks of reality. These theories don't just rewrite the rules, they erase them. Watch as the cosmic microwave background flickers with patterns too precise to be random, whispers of a universe built on purpose. Black holes loom not just as destroyers but as potential gateways or prisons hiding civilizations older than time itself. The dark forest's chilling silence stretches between the stars, a warning that every signal we send might be our last. And lurking in the void, Boltzmann brains drift, their fabricated memories more probable than our own. Now picture scientists hunched over monitors, wrestling with equations that defy sanity. Which theory haunts them most, the false vacuum's invisible annihilation? The simulation's uncanny glitches, or the gnawing suspicion that we're utterly alone, adrift in a cosmic graveyard? The static crackles, a distorted signal pulses numbers repeating. Prime, random, or something answering back. The screen blurs into noise and the transmission cuts, silence. But was it ever really?